You can find him on Twitter at gourmet_hockey. Always a pleasure to welcome in Jon Goyens, and I'm very happy that we still have live hockey to talk about here. Jon, let's dig in to what went down and how the Oil got their 8-goal explosion on Saturday night. And in the first 3 games of the series, I talked a lot on my show and on Oilers Nation every day about how the Panthers just seemed to play this perfect structure in the middle of the ice, and the Oilers couldn't find a way to solve it. When you look at last game, what broke free for the Oilers to allow them to score 6 goals off the rush at 5-on-5?
Well, it's a combination of more passes, actually, and some shorter passes that allowed them to transition versus, the last breakdown I did. How many times did we see a defenseman try to carry it end to end? And by the time they got to their own blue line, the red line, they had nobody to pass to. So they bungled the opportunities to create off the rush. And even times when they did have numbers, they bungled opportunities and ended up having to dump the puck in with no pressure. This time it was about efficiency with the puck, quick support, and I noticed a lot more of a stretch with a slash. Either they were slashing across like a northeast type of pattern, or they were just taking off dot line, not along the wall, dot line, which really backed off Florida. Then I'll be critical of Florida a little bit, where they typically let the hits come to them. They were overtly jumping outside dots and being too aggressive. So let's fire up some of these clips where we're going to start from the, as low as 200 feet or from their own zone to a little chip out early in the game here, little hunt, and a little bit of a broken play, but 15 seconds in, it creates a scoring chance. Edmonton was good with going with the aerial passes to guys catching it. It was a set thing. When you do that, you're quickly going 100, 120, 200 feet from your net. From below the goal line, let's go aerial again. Watch into the glove, not tape to tape. What are you? You're about 150 feet away from your net. Now jump on loose pucks. Now, under handles. He does not stick handle this puck. He pushes it ahead. Bang, he zips that across. Last week or game 3, this would have been an overhandle and a dump in. And again, little bump. Watch this stretch play. Love this angle. Zip it up the ice. And they've backed off Florida. Florida hasn't given up this kind of room. So here we're going to stop it here. So now I will say this. I don't know how this is not too many men. Connor McDavid is going to defend the guy. And watch Nurse, right? They had 3D on. The fact that they engage this early, right? It creates this tight gap defensively, but nonetheless, they defended the gap a lot better. Florida, let's let it roll. Florida loves the kickouts from the middle. Not there. McDavid gets it. What does it do? It fuels. And this is going to be the theme. It's going to fuel the transition. Watch here. Great stretch pass. Typically, Florida wants to skate this deep. You got to go attack the depth. Why Varhege is delaying here, I don't know. But boom, Bouchard's able to jump on the ice and defend. Tighter gaps by Edmonton 2-on-2. And then boom, Janmark defends anyone trying to climb to the middle of the ice. So great gap, great track equals fueling transition. Watch Brown on this one. Florida always wants to get to the middle, and Brown just disrupts, forces the kick out. Now it's a 4-on-2 or a 2 versus 4, pardon me. And it fuels the transition, allowing Janmark to get the middle of the ice. And the guy who tracked sets up a scoring chance at the other end. And that part was so much more connected for Edmonton than it has been in the first 3 games.
Okay, but at the same time, Florida's bread and butter all playoffs has been defending off the rush. So how much of that, if you're looking at it, Jon, is crediting the adjustments that Edmonton made, or is it more breakdowns that we saw from Florida's perspective?
I'm going to call it like a 60-40. 60% where Florida allowed themselves to get out of their structure. Even Paul Maurice said, we're one of the best teams at defending the rush. So they're not worried about that. But they allowed what Edmonton did in adjustments where, like I said, they would slash and they made more tape passes. It wasn't as many tip-ins and dump-ins. Really, both teams had very little zone time. It was really Edmonton was so much more opportunistic off of Florida's, uncharacteristically poor reads in the neutral zone. So watch these goals against, and we're going to see it right from the get-go on the Edmonton goals, is that you're going to see some poor, like this is a poor decision. This is a long pinch. That's a 90-10 puck, not a 50-50 puck. And then Montour, to me, he's got to stay on his feet. So he ends up taking out Bobrovsky. So you got a poor pinch and that. Now watch, one rim beats two players. And these two guys for Edmonton, watch Connor Brown beat guys up ice. Look at a massive gap. Mikula ends up on the offensive side of his guy. And Lindell, he takes his one look, but Crafty Henry gets inside him. And those are areas where they weren't giving up those east-west plays. Again, underhandling the puck, great stick by Draisaitl, but also Ekblad on the offensive side of Draisaitl. You didn't see that in the first three games. Watch it again. On the offensive side, and Forsling should hold the middle. Now Forsling gets pulled away from his spot. So it was a little bit of like this, overtly getting aggressive outside dots, getting on the offensive side of things. The other part, give Skinner, he touched the puck on 3 goals. 3 goals, he touched the puck. Here's a rim. That's an 85-foot pinch by Ekblad from the bench. And boom, here's the racetrack for McDavid. That's an oh no, holy shit type of moment. You cannot be giving that guy speed. Skinner touches the puck. Watch how poorly they change here. It takes 3 seconds for Lindell to get replaced. 3. Usually you're on before he completely gets off, and it creates that 4-on-2 rush. So again, I think it's part and parcel the slight adjustments from Edmonton getting back to their bread and butter off the rush, but also taking advantage of Florida uncharacteristically either getting caught with a bad change, caught outside dots, or caught with a really bad gap, which we haven't seen throughout these playoffs.
You're muted, Tyler.
When you look ahead to Game 5 on in this series from a Panthers perspective, is the fact there were so many uncharacteristic things in Game 4 a reason to maybe believe you can just get this thing right back on the rails in Game 5 and finish it off?
Yeah, because they've been one of the most consistent teams when it comes to defending the rush. So I don't see them panicking here. It's one of those like, oh shit, you know what? Emotionally after that second period, they're kind of like, oh, you know what? This game's behind us. It's not like they lost in overtime. It's just a real, it's not even a real reset. It's just like, okay, we didn't really play our game whatsoever. Get back to what works. And we got to make better decisions and own the dots. Own the dots, own the dots. Then let Edmonton come to you and let them hold on to pucks longer with being frustrated, not being able to access the middle of the ice, whether it be in the offensive zone or through transition.
The coach's room with Jon Goyens, always an education, and we'll see when we do your next hit later in this week if this series is still alive. Thanks for hopping on, John.
Have a good one.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.